Hello, my friend, and welcome to Pro Wrestling Daily. My name is Aaron Machbitz. So it's official. Charlotte Flair has officially announced that she is going after Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. Now, almost every single person on the planet predicted this, but the more interesting thing is that yes, no one wanted Charlotte Flair to win the Royal Rumble. She did anyways. I think that spot could have been given to anyone else to elevate them. Charlotte Flair is already elevated as one of the best women's wrestlers of all time. Now she's going to officially challenge Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania. And most people will probably assume that she is going to win that title. I think Tiffany Stratton absolutely has to defend and win and beat Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. This is huge for Tiffany Stratton, for the future of the women's division, and for putting a stamp on her WWE Women's Championship run. Now, with Rhea Ripley and her title, that's a little bit more interesting because you have what I imagine is going to be a triple threat of Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Io Sky. Now, I still think Rhea Ripley should also retain there, and you have both women's champions retaining at WrestleMania because these are the future of the women's division, and so you might as well elevate them on the grandest stage of them all, especially against a massive competitor like Charlotte Flair, who has the pedigree of being one of the best women's champions of all time. You give Tiffany Stratton that rub and you elevate her, and then maybe SummerSlam or later in the year, if you're sort of obsessed with Charlotte Flair becoming a champion again, then maybe you can have the title switch hands. And Rhea Ripley in the same way, like have her win, have her beat those two big dogs. If she doesn't, I think Io Sky potentially wins if she can develop more of a character where the fans are invested in her deeper. But then you have Liv Morgan, who's absolutely killing it every week, the most improved wrestler over the last year, and also someone that can carry the championship belt as we saw in 2024. So there's some interesting developments for the women's division, but I also think the two mid-card titles that WWE introduced in the women's division, the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship, haven't been promoted or elevated to the status they potentially could have. I mean, we saw both champions lose on their respective shows, which doesn't elevate the mid-card title. They have no feud to sink their teeth into. I mean, Chelsea Green is like sort of stuck in this limbo with Michin, and then Laya Valkyrie is not doing anything on Raw. There's only like one person who's even mentioned that she wants to have a feud with her for the Intercontinental title. If these are going to be the workhorse championships and they're going to be elevated to a level similar to where the Intercontinental Championship is on the men's side, the United States Championship on the men's side is a fucking joke. So that is what it is. Like Gunther elevated that Intercontinental Championship on the men's side to something prestigious, and now Braun Breaker is doing an excellent job as well. And so if you want to do the same thing on the women's side, they have to have these matches every week. They have to win matches every week. They have to elevate those championships beyond just being sort of random accessories that people wear to the ring, and they have to have a feud that people can sink their teeth into. So WWE has to do a better job of that if they want those titles to sort of mean anything, because right now they really don't. And you have two fantastic wrestlers representing those inaugural championship runs, and you might as well do something with it so the next person who wins it is also elevated in status, and it keeps building up these champions so eventually they can reach the main level stage of where a Tiffany Stratton, a Rhea Ripley, a Liv Morgan is. Hopefully we see Roxanne elevated to that level with her potential feud with Bayley, and things of that nature, where there's so many women who can carry the women's division to make it the best in the world. And then again, we saw Nia Jax wrestle on Friday Night SmackDown. She's the worst wrestler on the roster. Get her out of there. There's so many other women who could have wrestled Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown that would have made that match better, safer, all around just way better than what Nia Jax can produce. Get her out of there. I just don't understand why there's such an obsession with putting her on television when she literally doesn't know what she's doing. But those are my thoughts on Charlotte Flair announcing that, the women's division stuff and things we can improve upon. Also, one more thing we can improve upon is you got to stop making SmackDown 3 hours. It's just like, no. Like 2.5 hours is the sweet spot, but you can't do that on the USA Network, so you might as well just go 2 hours. You get in the really good stuff. With 3 hours, there seems a lot of filler, a lot of bullshit, a lot of ads, a lot of this just sort of nonsense that sort of slows the slows the show down. There we go, crushing it. Stay with me, stay with me. I'm a professional. Slows the show down. Say that 17 times fast, I dare you. Slows the show down, and so I think 2 hours is the sweet spot. You get in all the good stuff, the things that need to be put over, the development of the storylines, the pushing of certain characters and ideas, and 2 hours is good. 3 hours is just, okay, that's what I think. Let's move on to the next subject. What everyone's talking about all the time is Logan Paul, and I talk about on this show all the time because it's an interesting conversation. And I think with that match he has at Rey Mysterio, with the interactions he's had with Gunther and CM Punk and Seth Rollins, and the way they want to push, Logan Paul. He had a monster rookie year. He slowed down a little bit last year. And so I think 2025 is make or break for Logan Paul because, yes, he is one of the most hated superstars and people on the planet. He gets great heel reactions. Yes, he's very athletic, of course, but all of his matches are heavily scripted and planned out. Every single title match he's had, every single big match he's had, the one with Rey Mysterio on Monday Night Raw, they're all heavily scripted and heavily planned. This is not the mark of a main event WWE superstar. A main event WWE superstar can go out there with anyone at any moment and put on an absolute fire match. And so Logan Paul, if he really wants to be quote unquote the face of WWE, he must put in the work. He must put in the work. You can see in his match with Rey Mysterio that he fumbled a little bit. He didn't know where he was going. Rey Mysterio had to pick up the slack and then basically tell him every move going forward. Yes, he's athletic. Yes, he has cool moves. But that's not the whole thing of a WWE superstar, and that's not the whole part of putting together a great match. There's improvising. There's movement. There's hearing. There's selling. There's understanding different spots, different timing, where to put stuff, how to move around, how to sell, how to communicate, how to put together a full match that means something, not just hitting the spots that are on the sheet. And so it is make or break for Logan Paul in 2025 because he has to get better. He has to be able to hang every single night in house shows, in main events, on Monday Night Raw, without everything being scripted down to the very second if he wants to be a main player in WWE. And now that's possible, but he needs to have more matches. He needs to have more matches in NXT. Not in NXT, but at the training center, in house shows, so that he can build up this talent and this gift and this skill of being able to produce matches without them being heavily scripted and everything being planned out. That's just not how it works. You have to be able to move on the fly. You have to be able to improvise. These are some very, very important skills that all main event WWE stars have. And if Logan Paul wants to be there like he claims that he does, he must put in the work just like he has in everything else that he's ever done in his life. He must do it with this. And then he can have more matches. There can be more feuds. There can be more creativity in the ring because not everything is just exactly planned, scripted, exactly how it needs to be. There's more free flow of creativity and expression, which I imagine Logan Paul is a very creative, expressive person, so might as well do that in a WWE ring as well. And then we'll end this video with some WrestleMania 41 predictions, which we're going to have on every single video leading up to the biggest show of the year, which is WrestleMania 41. And I'm just going to talk about Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, because we saw Sami Zayn release a video for Friday Night SmackDown talking about his neck because his so-called friend Kevin Owens gave him a pile driver, a package pile driver, which is an extremely, extremely dangerous move. I've taken it before. It doesn't feel good. Yes, a lot of things can happen if anything go wrong or the person doing the move commits it with a little bit more viciousness and ferocity, and you can see Kevin Owens lifted up Sami Zayn just a little bit higher than normal and drove him directly down on his head. And so of course Sami Zayn is taking a break, is relaxing, but I think yes, it's going to lead, obviously it's been announced that it's leading to a match at the Elimination Chamber, but what's going to happen is, I've said this for a long time, but I thought it was going to be Randy Orton. I thought it was going to be a triple threat. I don't know what Randy Orton's status is. There's already too many deemed triple threat matches and fatal four ways. You can't just have multi-man matches on every single match of the night because you want to fit all of the wrestlers in. So I think it's going to lead to Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, either like last man standing, I quit, Hell in a Cell, cage match, something that's absolutely vicious that these two can sink their teeth into to really put an end or a capitalization or an exclamation point to this feud. We know how good Kevin Owens is. We know how good Sami Zayn is. We know how good their chemistry is. So we'll see something happen at Elimination Chamber. They won't have like this full-fledged like end of the feud match. It's going to be something good, something really good, and then something that's going to tease them having this more intense sort of exclamation point on this feud at WrestleMania 41. That's just what I think. And those are my thoughts for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Agree, disagree. You got some hot takes, some predictions, some rumors, whatever you got, comment below. I'd absolutely love to hear from you. We're trying to grow this channel together. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share this channel with every single person on the planet who's a wrestling fan or should be a wrestling fan. But I'll see you guys next time. Lots of love. Cheers.